sharpen your teeth. Blame ghosts in the cold while you rot underneath.
On today's episode of Stop Blaming the Leads, we're going to talk about the one thing that's costing you more deals than any other lead source or anything else ever could. And it's the way that your team and you talk about money. I've been to plenty of customers' houses over the last couple of years, and I've sat at that kitchen table and I've seen the temperature in the room change when the money gets brought up. Without the proper process and procedure to explain payments and investments to customers, it's always going to go off the rails. And so in today's episode, I'm going to teach you guys how to start leading with payment and how to stop blaming the leads.
Stop blaming the leads. You're scared of the mirror. You're scared of the mirror. Stop blaming the leads.
Welcome back to another episode of Stop Blaming the Leads. I'm Chris Stilwell, the founder and owner of TSSG. And if you guys don't know me, I'll just give you a real quick background. I'm a sales guy. I started in sales and I worked my way up through this industry to end up being able to run a pretty large sales team and find a good amount of success. And ultimately, Generac took notice of that, and I won the Compass Award with them in 2023. And I decided to go out on my own and start my own organization. I decided to open TSSG. This system sells generators. And that's what we're here to do. I'm here to help dealers just like you, business owners, salespeople, people out in the field trying to make it happen. I'm here to help you guys sell more generators. We work with dealers on their sales process. We work with them on hiring the right people. We work with them on finding accountability, creating leadership, putting those SOPs into place that are going to translate through the rest of the business and result in revenue. Because this is what I ultimately believe. The dealers who win are not the dealers who get the most leads. It's the dealers who have the best sales process. So if you want to learn more about how to improve your sales process, check us out at TSSGcoaching.com, thisSystemSellsGenerators.com. You guys can check us out there. You can definitely learn more about our business. You can sign up for TSSG Plus. You can join one of our TSSG Connect groups, or you can get coaching with me, or even buy some of our cool materials. So please check that out, TSSGcoaching.com. So let's talk about what everybody's here to discuss today, which is how to stop selling generators and how to start selling payments. And in these episodes, these solo episodes, I love to talk about that mindset shift. I think most people, when they walk into a home, they think they're selling a generator. And I don't want to be like, hey, you're not selling a generator, because that is part of the job, planning the generator and talking to people about it, absolutely. But I don't look at the job as me selling the generator. I look at the job as I'm there to structure a setup for a family and how to protect them in a way during power outages that they can afford. That's what's important. So I don't focus on which box of metal I'm going to sell to the customer. I'm more focused on how I'm going to structure this in a way that makes sense to their budget so that they'll buy it from me. And that mindset shift has really changed a lot for me, because I don't walk in thinking, hey, I've got to hawk this generator to this person and I've got to get a big check from them today. I walk in thinking I've got to learn more about this person. I have to find out what their problems are, see if we can solve them. Then I need to figure out what their budget is and make this make sense to them. And the budget is the important part of this episode. The budget is everything. Financing is the new normal. It's what we do in America. It's how people buy. Look at every other industry that sells to homeowners. And I know that sometimes generators, we think we're unique or a little bit different than other industries, but I'm just going to tell you guys that cash buyers in every industry, when it comes to home services right now, are by far in the minority. Most people, about 40 to 50% of people who have been surveyed, say that they don't even want to talk to a contractor who isn't offering financing. So right there, you got like half the people out. They say in roofing right now, less than 10% of all roofs are paid for with cash. And I know these could be slightly different industries, but ask yourself, would you go shopping for a car today or a new truck today if that dealer didn't offer monthly payments? Of course not. That's not the way that we do business. That's not the way that we operate, and neither will your customers. So if the financing isn't obviously on the table for your company, please start to think about that, because right now you're getting customers smiling in your face and saying it's not really something they're interested in or they don't really need it, but they're turning to your competitors and buying with the people who are offering that financing the same way that you would. So the mindset shift that we all have to think about is that you're not selling a generator. You're structuring a service for someone in a way that can make sense to their budget. And if it makes sense to their budget, they will buy it from you. And that's really what I put over everything. Budget to me is the discussion I'm always having with customers, not cost. Because think about your life. Yeah, costs are important, but what's more important is how you can fit it into the budget. For me, it's not really even about the total. And I think that for the end user, that end customer, that total is definitely something they want to know and it's something they're interested in. But where most people go wrong is just really concentrating on that total. When the customer asks something along the lines of like, what does it cost? They're not necessarily saying, hey, if I wanted to buy this today, how much money do I have to take out of my bank account? A lot of time what they're saying is, how hard is this going to hit my budget? And those are two kind of completely different questions. So a lot of the times we'll hear customers say, hit me with the number, tell me what it's going to cost. And in our heads, we're projecting and saying, okay, now they want that total investment, which is definitely true. They want to know that number, but they also want to know what's it going to cost monthly and what's the potential to the budget, not just to the bank account, right? So don't think bank account. Let's think budget, because everything else in this customer's life is a payment. And I want you guys to relate this to yourself personally. And if you can't, I apologize for the example, but think about your own life for a second. Your house, your condo, your apartment, that's all on a monthly payment. Most people's cars on a monthly payment. Cell phone bills, monthly payment. Netflix, monthly payment. Car insurance, monthly payment. A bed, mattresses, monthly payments. That's what the whole industry is built on. Taylor Swift tickets, vacations, everything these days is built on monthly payments. You can monthly pay a DoorDash order. It's how people buy everything now. So why does the generator have to be the one thing that's different? If you're not selling payments right now and it's not at the forefront, you're still selling in the past. So if you ask yourself, man, I don't know why these people aren't buying. I'm not sure why we're not closing like we used to. Things have really slowed down. This might be the answer. The whole world has moved to monthly payments. And the dealers who are still emphasizing a one-time payment are standing still and being passed by. So what I want you guys to think is that a customer who you're telling $12,000 today or $15,000 today that's saying no to you, that same customer might hear $195 a month and say, oh, absolutely, that sounds great, let's do it. Same generator, same customer, same price, same profit margin for you. The only thing that's changed is how you frame that number. $12,000? No. $159 a month? That sounds pretty reasonable. But you might be saying to yourself, okay, Chris, well, if so many people want financing, why aren't they asking me for financing?
Stop blaming the leads! You're scared of the mirror!
Stop Blaming the Leads is brought to you by TSSG. Go to tssgcoaching.com and check out the latest offerings from This System Sells Generators. Get tickets to our FTL Field Tested Live event in Chicago, pick up our training booklets, and check out TSSG Plus, the newest service offered from TSSG. Learn more about what TSSG has going on, take advantage of our webinars, get exclusive content, and all of the TSSG training material document library. Available now at tssgcoaching.com.
Stop blaming the lake! You're scared of the mirror!
Well, so many people want financing. Why aren't they asking me for financing? Well, just because they're silent about it doesn't mean that they don't want it. It's the trap that most people get caught in, and a lot of dealers get caught up in this, which is like, hey, I'm not bringing up financing right now. The customers aren't bringing up financing right now. So why would I ever need to intertwine this into my business? Well, most homeowners are not going to admit that they don't have the cash in their pocket. I'm just going to say, like, ego seems to be this big thing with people when you're in their house and selling. It's very rare that a customer ever says that they don't have the money for a project. Maybe they'll say something along the lines like it's more expensive than they thought, or they're not looking to spend that much money today. But it's very rare that you show a sum of money to a customer and have them say, ooh, I don't have that much money. What do you have for financing options? Maybe you need a more healthy ego. Maybe people need more therapy. I'm not sure what it is, but I've really never had that come up. And it's because it's kind of embarrassment. It's human. You're there working with them. You're showing them this number. It's tough for them to say, ooh, we don't have this much cash. And if you're a guy and you're standing there with another, 40 or 50-year-old guy at his house and you say this is going to be 15 grand, it's pretty difficult for him to look at you and say, honestly, I don't have 15,000 in the bank. Which options do you have to help me get there? It's just not something that happens all the time. And instead of us thinking that people are going to change, what we need to do is we need to change. So right now, if you're presenting price to customers and you're hearing things like, I need to think about it, well, 9 times out of 10, they need to think about it because they don't know how they're going to pay for it. It's the money. I mean, it's true. There's people out there who will say like, oh, I need to think about it as a smoke screen. And I think it is. I think it's a smoke screen for, I don't know how I would be able to pay for this. I'm going to need some time to think about it. But if you offer them that financing, it removes the embarrassment. It hands them a path forward. And it's going to potentially turn that no into a yes. I do it every single day. I watch it constantly. So that's why I want to encourage you guys to be offering this financing and offering payment options to customers on every single visit. The most common things that customers say is that they didn't buy because they weren't shown a payment. I've worked in these call centers. I've consulted with the national companies at the highest level and heard these customer phone calls, guys. Most of the time, customers aren't buying with us because they were not presented a payment. So every time that you present a price, it needs to go along with a payment. Not only when the customer looks nervous or says they don't have the money or asks for the payment, that's not going to work. A number, big number by itself is why people are seeing sticker shock today. A number with a payment on it is going to start making those discussions much, much easier for you. So one thing that we want to come together and say is that I'm never going to present a price by itself. Part of our TSSG system, this system sells generators, is that we never present a price by itself. That number goes along with a payment because the number is why most of you are stalling out. The payment is going to be where the customer makes the decision. Now, I want to relate this back really quick to we were talking about cars before. We were talking about, luxury purchases. You got to think some people say to themselves, Chris, well, I wouldn't finance with that. I have a credit union or I have a bank that lends to me. I understand that. And a lot of your customers, the reason why you're getting held up on deals is they think that same thing. They now have to say to you, well, let me get this information. I'm going to go to the bank. I'm going to apply for this loan. I go through that process, take the weeks to get that done. And then hopefully I say yes. The difference with payment options that you offer from your location is you can get that done today. They can say yes to you at the table. They can pull the trigger, and you can have either yourself or someone in your office secure financing for them now. No bank process, no records, no audits, no weeks of waiting for checks. They can say yes, and you could have money now. And that's why it is important to think to yourself, I don't want customers having to get lending from someone else to do a project with me. I need to be the one who offers them the lending. And along with that, the ethos has to be when I show them the price, I will also show them the lending options. It goes hand in hand for success. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, Chris, I have plans, I have this stuff, but I show it to customers, I talk to people about it. That's fine. I'm happy you talk to people about it. But there's different ways between just talking to someone about financing and having a process to explain financing. So I'm going to break this down. And for our video listeners on YouTube at Stop Blaming the Leads or YouTube at We Are TSSG to see these episodes online. I'm going to be showing you guys some stuff physically too. So this is going to link up, but I'll make sure that the podcast listeners can hear this very well. Now at TSSG, I recommend that you offer 3 basic financing plans to customers. You can offer more, you can offer less. My recommendation is 3 basic financing plans. The 3 that I offer are the Synchrony 132 month 9.99. This is going to be the lowest monthly payment. And honestly, this is where I'm having more and more customers land over the last couple years. The next payment that I offer is the 37 months 5.99. Now, this is going to be a rate that's lower than a purchase on a car right now. And this is something that you're going to get paid off in 3 years. People love this one. We have a huge adoption rate with this. And of course, plan number 3, the one that everybody goes to, is that 0 down for 18 months, which is absolutely fine. The 0%, everybody loves that. 0% for 18 months, fantastic. 0 interest. I'm not a huge fan of that plan because it could be a ticking time bomb. And I don't think every single customer thinks they're going to be able to pay this off in 18 months. But I do, if that's the only plan that you're offering right now, and at least you're offering that, I'm happy you're offering that. But don't apologize for these rates, folks. I'm going to tell you, I've heard these reps out there say, I'd never pay 9.99. This is not about you. I talk about this with salespeople all the time. The narcissism of projection with salespeople is astronomical. It has nothing to do with what you would pay. Think about it. If there's a storm that hits tomorrow in your area and all of a sudden power's knocked out, everyone's screwed, and a customer goes, okay, I do want to get a generator with you guys, but I don't have $15,000 in the bank. The most I could do is $200 a month. You think they give a shit what the interest rate is right now? They don't care what the interest rate is at all. What they care is, can I make that payment every month, and can I get this generator in here as soon as possible so this doesn't happen to me again? Do not project what your own thoughts and feelings about financing are onto the customers. So don't apologize for the rate. The 9.99 is a great rate. You can't get a camper for 9.99 today. You can't get a pool for 9.99 today. You can't finance anything for 9.99 today. So it's absolutely fantastic rate. And the best part is they could pay it off early if they want to with Synchrony and incur no penalties. And your payment is usually going to be under $200 a month if you're running a generator under 15 grand. So do not apologize for the 9.99. Do not apologize for the 5.99. Own these rates. Love these rates. Because most folks right now who are looking at luxury items know that it's 12 to 15%. This is going to be lower than that. It's going to protect my family, and it's at a better rate. Why would I not move forward with the generator? Now, there is going to be a certain amount of people who think, yeah, I get it. That's a big amount of interest that I have to pay over a long term. I don't love that. And I get where you guys are coming from. But relate that to any other industry. Every other industry has a down payment philosophy. And I've taken those down payment philosophies and made them part of our TSSG ethos. And today I want to discuss with you guys how you're going to transform the way that customers buy financing and payments with your business by offering down payments.
Stop blaming the leads! You're scared of the mirror!
Stop Blaming the Leads is brought to you by Precast Pads, precastpads.com. Go to precastpads.com and check out the deals that they have. Full service pad manufacturer right out of Orlando, Florida. My buddy George, Pam, and the rest of the crew down there will take care of you. They'll get you your best precast rebar pads sent to your location, truckloads, pallets, whatever works best. They have the best product in the industry, the best pricing, and the best family to work with. So tell them that Chris Stilwell from TSSG sent you and check out precastpads.com.
Stop blaming the leads! You're scared of the mirror!
Now, down payments is something that I've started up over the last couple of years and really learned to perfect. This is going to be the biggest change that you can make to showing payments if you're already showing payments today. I'm going to teach you guys this, and you're definitely going to be able to add this to your arsenal. So right now, most people are showing a total, they're waiting, the customer gives some resistance, and then they'll like drop a price or they'll give a discount or then they'll offer payments. The down payment is going to get you out of that completely. And when I think about down payments, I want you guys to think to yourself, the last car that you bought, the last boat that you bought, the last truck that you bought, you either did a trade-in or you made a down payment. Customers are going to expect down payments. And think about it, right now you're offering absolutes. You're saying it's either a zero down and you pay all this money, or you pay us up front for this whole thing. I want to offer them a middle ground. I want to offer that customer a situation that might work better for them. So I'm going to teach you guys exactly how I do this. First thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use my TSSG payment calculator, which is available on TSSG Plus. You guys can get that subscription for $99 a month. TSSG Plus, it's a forum that has access to all of our webinars, all of our videos, all of our TSSG information, but it also has a TSSG payment calculator. And you guys can see that what it's going to do is it's going to produce some information for you extremely quickly right online. It's going to tell you the exact numbers. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put in some numbers, and I'm going to ask for the TSSG payment calculator to give me the exact numbers on my sale. Okay, great. So I put in my TSSG payment calculator that this customer is going to have a one-time investment of $14,759. And that's going to be on a 22 kilowatt with a 200 amp transfer switch, 20 feet of gas, and 20 feet of electrical. Now, I'm going to suggest a down payment of $7,500 for that customer, because I like to suggest about a 50% down payment. And when I put this information into my calculator, it now tells me that the 9.99 for 132 months would be $185 a month. And if they did that $7,500 down payment, it would be down to $91 a month. The 5.99 for 37 months, if they did zero down, would be $438 a month. And if they did a $7,500 down payment, it'd be $215 a month. And then finally, I have that plan 924, the no interest if paid in full for 18 months. If I do zero down, you'd be looking at $819 a month. And if I did that $7,500 down, we'd be looking at $403 a month. I didn't have to do any math. The TSSG payment calculator did that all for me. And either on my iPad, my phone, or in my email, I could show them these numbers digitally right now. But I use our TSSG. But to make it easier for the customer to understand, I use our TSSG kitchen table presentation booklets. These are our 16-page booklets that we use to present the sale to a customer. Today, what I'm going to go over with you guys is exactly how I explain these payment options to the customer using this booklet page. Now, this page also syncs up with the TSSG payment calculator on TSSG Plus. So if you are to use the payment calculator on there and open it up on your iPad or your phone, you can show this to the customer. And like I said, you can also even email it directly to the customer. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to explain this to you guys the same way I would explain this to a customer. Now, you guys asked about the total investment on this project. You'd be looking at a one-time investment of $14,759. That would be on the 22 kilowatt generator. That's going to have the 200 amp transfer switch, and we're going to do 20 feet of gas pipe and 20 feet of electrical for you. Now, what most of our customers do to make this a little easier on their budget is they put about half down. For you guys, that would be about $7,500. Now, that would give you a monthly payment of $91 a month at a 9.99 rate for 132 months. If you guys wanted to do a lower rate, like a 5.99, we have that for 37 months, and you'd be looking at $215 a month. And if you said, hey, I don't want any interest, Chris, I just want to pay this off within the next 18 months, we could do that for you as well, and you'd be looking at $403 a month. Now, if you guys just wanted to keep that $7,500 in your pocket and do zero down today, you'd be looking as low as $185 a month for the 9.99, $438 a month for the 5.99, and if you just wanted to do nothing down today, no interest, have this thing paid off in the next 18 months, you guys would only be looking at $819 a month. Now, do any of these payment options seem reasonable to you? The important part about presenting payment options like that is that it's structured, is that it's scripted, and is that it's concise and easy for a customer to understand. Again, if you are just listening to the podcast, you can feel free to go to YouTube and see what these documents look like. You can feel free to go to tssgcoaching.com and check this stuff out online. And you can definitely grab a membership to our TSSG Plus. It's only $99 a month, and you'll have access to this. No monthly commitment on there. The reason why we do this process with customers, though, is because it makes it easy for them to see that it's not just a one-time payment, that there are monthly options here that are very reasonable to hit their budget. Today, if you're presenting one big number to customers and hearing pushback, the easiest way to change that is spend $99, grab this payment calculator, try to explain these payments to the next couple customers, show them to them on your iPad, show them to them on your phone, email it to them, let them see it, and see if that makes a difference. Because if you're just explaining payments out loud right now, you're missing half the battle. Think about it. 50% of the people out there are auditory learners. So when you're telling them payments, yeah, they're definitely hearing you and they're absorbing all of those numbers. But the other 50% of people out there are visual learners. So if you're just explaining, oh, we have a 9.99 for 132 months, that payment would run you guys somewhere around $185 a month. But that's not written down and in their face for them to see while you're having the discussion, then for 50% of the people, it's falling on deaf ears. Deaf eyes, I mean, really. People, if they can't see it, they don't get it. I'm going to tell you, I'm a learner like that, actually. I need to see visual and I need to hear it if I'm going to absorb it. You have to give me both. And that's why I created this process. And what I've found is that a lot of our customers might be older folks. They might have a little hard time just absorbing hearing. You know, maybe some of these people even have hearing aids, some of the age brackets that we're dealing with. So when you think about that, you have to think, I'm not just talking to this customer. I'm not just explaining these payment options. I'm not just explaining the down payment. I'm also showing it to them. Now, the down payment that you guys heard there and the way that you guys heard me do that down payment, what's important to understand about that is that I pick 50% because it pretty much halves the monthly payment. And a lot of the time, I'm coming in under $100 with that first payment. Makes a lot of sense to the customer. Again, maybe you're thinking to yourself, Chris, I'm offering 4 or 5 different payment options today and I'm still not getting a yes. Are you writing them down, first of all? And second of all, 4 or 5 might be too many. Sometimes people can drown in options and it might all kind of become white noise. So where I would suggest would be to pick the 3 options that you think make the most sense to your business. Blend those margins in, blend those payments, costs into your margin. Pick those 3 payments and show those 3 payments. Now, again, I'm showing 3 payments and a down payment option. So I'm actually kind of showing 6 payment options. And then you add the fact that they could just do the one-time investment. I'm kind of showing them 7 payment options already, which could be a lot. The big thing here is to understand that I can now close much easier with this customer now. I can now get to a do you want to do this discussion at a much lower impact with this customer now because I've offered this. I didn't have to ask them, do you want to move forward, yes or no? I asked them a question like, do you think any of these payment options seem reasonable for you? I mean, one of them has to be reasonable, right? And if these payment options aren't reasonable, then that customer's probably not reasonable, to tell you the truth. I mean, we're not going to get them all. There's a reason I don't close at 100%. Nobody does. It's because there's just certain people who don't want to buy it. But this is the path that people are looking for. Half down, $7,500 down today and $91 a month. That makes a lot of sense. That's something I'd advertise. That's something I'd talk about. That's something I'd want to push to my customers. Not to mention, if you guys start taking down payments, you're going to start really lowering your dealer fees. That's a pushback that I get from people. Chris, we're paying 7 to 10% in dealer fees every time we use financing. I get it. Cost of doing business. I understand that. But you got to blend part of that margin in. You got to push that across to the customer. And if that is such a big concern for you, then start pushing down payments today. Look, I get so many customers right now, and I'm sure you guys do too, that when you go to close them, they look at that number and they say, oh, I thought it was only going to be $6,000. Oh, I thought it was only going to be $7,500. Oh, I thought the generator only cost $7,000. Well, now you have a great response to that. Bookmark this one, guys. I'm going to tell you to you right now. When a customer says to you, oh, I thought it was only going to be $7,500. I didn't realize it would be $15,000. You get to say now back to them, oh, I totally understand where you're coming from. So what I would do and what most customers would do in your situation is we can take that $7,500 that you guys have set aside for this project, put it down as a down payment, and then we could throw you guys on one of these low monthly payments. And if you did it with no interest over the next 18 months, you guys would be paid off at $400 a month. Does that seem reasonable? I think that seems pretty reasonable. Most car payments today are over $400 a month. And we're talking zero interest. Not to mention, if you did it over 3 years with only 6% interest, you'd only be paying $215 a month. And if you wanted to just say, hey, let's just pay it off monthly, you get it done at $91 a month for the lifetime of the generator.
Stop blaming the lake! You're scared of the mirror!
Today's episode is brought to you by Netgain, NetgainSEO.com. Netgain is the home of the PAL system. When a storm comes, you're alerted, and so are your customers. People Google search, they check on Facebook, they look on Instagram. They do whatever they can to find a generator dealer. And Netgain employs the PAL technology to make sure you're the dealer at the top of the list. So check out NetgainSEO.com or come to our FTL event in Chicago and check out the Netgain booth there. NetgainSEO.com. Become the #1 dealer in your area.
Stop blaming the lake! You're scared of the mirror!
Remember when I was talking about those camping loans and I was talking about those boat loans, and we were saying that 12 to 15%, that's like a 15-year loan or an 11-year loan. That's not a 3-year loan, not a 5-year loan. That interest compounds. Nothing compared to what these plans are. So when you're thinking about getting money objections right now, when you talk about payments or when you talk about the total investment, this will help overcome those. This will help with that. We thought it was going to be cheaper. Great. If you thought it was going to be cheaper and you have that money set aside, let's take that money, put it down on this project, put the rest on a small monthly payment, and we'll get this thing installed for you guys ASAP. We'll have your family safe and backed up during the next emergency while you guys are making a small monthly payment. And heck, if you want to pay it off early and just say we're done with this thing, we don't even want to keep making these payments, we're going to pay it off early, there is no penalty from Synchrony to you. This will help you overcome money objections. Down payments and payments are the way to sell the generator. Talking about why your company's better than everyone else, talking about the awards you've won, talking about your level with Generac, talking about how many trucks or service technicians you have, isn't going to make the generator monetarily make sense to the customer. Yeah, it might make them buy with you over someone else, but if they don't see a path to budget, they will not purchase the generator. Now, I know you guys are telling me, hey, Chris, most of my buyers today are cash. This isn't going to make a difference. I'm letting you know, guys, this is going to start unlocking buyers that aren't buying with you today. I think your cash buyers are always going to be cash buyers. They're always going to be there. It's not like they're going to choose this over that. Cash buyers are always going to want to be cash buyers. This is going to start to offer a path to the single mom who needs this but doesn't have the money in the bank today. This is going to offer the path to the couple that was going to do a pool and a generator but didn't know how they were going to do both, and now this makes sense for them. This is going to offer the path to that 70-year-old customer who lives on a monthly budget and doesn't have $15,000 in the bank today, and they could pay this thing at $185 a month for the rest of their natural life and have a generator that's functioning, servicing their family, keeping them safe. This offers a path for people to purchase a unit with you. Financing sells more generators. So if you get nothing else from this episode today, I want you guys to understand the biggest thing is to stop selling the generator. Start selling the payment. Lead with the budget. Yes, tell them the investment, but go to how this is going to hit their budget. Make it make sense to them. Make a payment option offering part of your everyday process and pick the payments that you're going to use. Pick them. I like the 9.99, the 5.99, and the 0 for 18 months. Know those plans. Know which plans you offer and know the payments. Also, start using the down payment method. Start thinking about how you could put that down payment in, and that could decrease the amount that they'd have to pay monthly to start making it make more sense for their budget. And have confidence in these plans. Synchrony is offering us fantastic plans. They are helping us sell more generators if we use it correctly. So if you create a process, you create a procedure, and you follow it constantly, you guys are going to start selling more generators, and you're going to stop blaming the leads.